Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, some banks attribute current challenge with the city to limited supply of dollars on the market. Also coming up, Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Addison insists recent data from independent actors backs arguments that the economy is recovering.
And recovery in the Ghanaian economy are emerging. Real GDP growth ended 2023 at 2.9%, above the revised target of 2.3%.
Also, EcoBank emerges as top bank in Ghana. Will have more from the banking survey by PricewaterhouseCoopers. My name is Darryl Powell. Thanks for being with us. Details coming up. And that was your look at the currency market. We want to begin from there because some banks are attributing the current challenge with the city to limited supply of dollars on the market. The local currency has struggled to stabilize against the dollar despite recent developments in the economy. George Raffis starts us off with this report.
For some, there are now more questions than ever when it comes to the performance of the Ghana cedi. This is because of some of the things that we were told when it comes to what was fueling the depreciation then. One can talk about Ghana passing the second IMF program review and the second tranche of funds hitting Bank of Ghana's account. Now, that has happened, but we are yet to see that firm stability of the Ghana cedi. There were also projections that when Ghana closes deal with the bilateral creditors, the free fall of the cedi would be dealt with. Now, some of these market analysts and economists are also now telling us that unless Ghana is able to sign an agreement with the Eurobond holders, that significant stability may elude us. But for some of these commercial banks, there's a flip side to this issue. Since the city's performance is basically about demand and supply, dealing with the supply challenge could bring some relief to us. The Bank of Ghana's international reserves ending April this year reached $6.5 billion. The IMF, after their recent staff visit to Ghana, is even praising the Bank of Ghana for some strong dollar buildup. However, the program conditions are restricting the central bank from intervening on the market with the required dollars. But Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Addison, the recent program in Accra, is insisting that the cedi is responding to the recent market developments as it has started stabilizing against the US dollar.
Well, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Addison, is insisting recent data from other independent actors backs arguments that the economy is recovering. Government's claims that the economy has turned the corner has been questioned and criticized by sections of the public. But speaking at the SME Growth and Opportunity Summit in Accra, the governor argued that the debate should be focused on the numbers and how that is helping stabilize the situation now.
From addressing the challenging macroeconomic environment, the government also committed under the program to addressing gaps in governance and anti-corruption frameworks to enhance accountability and integrity whilst promoting inclusive growth through improving the business environment, enhancing export competitiveness and integration, strengthening Ghana's FDI attractiveness, streamlining sectoral and industrial policies, improving access to finance, promoting entrepreneurship while upskilling labor force to help address skills mismatches, as well as advancing the digitalization agenda for financial inclusion. On its part, the Bank of Ghana has stepped up efforts to bring inflation under control, eliminate monetary financing of the budget, and rebuild foreign currency buffers. The bank is also taking steps to implement comprehensive strategy to rebuilding the capital buffers of financial institutions post-DDEP. Distinguished guests, these measures are beginning to yield positive results. Signs of stabilization and recovery in the Ghanaian economy are emerging. Real GDP growth ended 2023 at 2.9%, above the revised target of 2.3%. In the first quarter of this year, GDP growth has come out stronger than expected at 4.7%. Inflation, which peaked at 54.1% in December 2022, has decelerated faster than expected and reached 22.8% in June 2024.
All right, now Ecobank has emerged as top bank in Ghana in terms of deposits, loans, and as well as highest operating assets in the industry. That's according to the 2024 Ghana Banking Survey put together by PricewaterhouseCoopers. Here's more in this report.
The report showed that Ecobank had more than 14% of the total industry deposits for last year, which stood at 201 billion cedis, making it the highest in the industry. It has held this position since 2019. Total industry share of loans and advances stood at 67 billion Ghana cedis. Of this amount, Ecobank commanded 16%. The bank also came tops when it comes to operating assets, having about 13.3%. However, when it comes to the profit before tax, Standard Chartered Bank posted the highest according to PricewaterhouseCoopers banking survey. Also, all the Tier 1 banks saw strong growth in their profits from 2022 to 2023.
Public relations professionals have been urged to consider the emergence of technology to innovate and embrace some form of creativity in their line of duty. This is critical to meet the growing demand of the general public as more policies are being implemented. Deputy Minister of Information Sylvester Tete made the call when he addressed stakeholders at this year's World PR Day celebration and summit in Accra.
As part of efforts to mark this year's World Public Relations Day in Ghana, Global Media Alliance, with support from the Ministry of Information, hosted a PR summit to help shape the practice of public relations in today's world. Themed "The Future of PR in a Changing World," the summit was used to discuss how PR practitioners can navigate the evolving landscape and continue to drive meaningful engagement and positive change through digital tools. Addressing the summit, Deputy Minister for Information Sylvester Tete called for more innovation and creativity in communication practice.
As we celebrate the World Public Relations Day, let me reaffirm our commitment to the highest standard of communication. Let us recognize the hard work and dedication of PR practitioners who tirelessly work behind the scenes to shape public perception and foster trust with their various stakeholders. To the PR professionals and communicators gathered here today, I salute your efforts. Your work is instrumental in helping the government achieve its goals and serve its citizens effectively. You are the unsung heroes who bridge the gap between policy and the public, ensuring that our messages are heard and understood. As we move forward, let us embrace innovation and creativity in our communication strategies. Let us continue to build strong relationships with the media, recognizing them as partners in our mission to inform and educate the public.
Speaking to welcome the participants, Chief Director for Global Media Alliance, Emma Wenani, highlighted the importance of the summit to industry players.
The day aims to build a unified global agenda towards making the world understand and utilize PR efficiently and effectively. This year's global theme, "The Future of Public Relations in a Changing World," reflects the dynamic nature of the PR profession and the need to adapt to unprecedented challenges and transformative shifts. In line with this global theme, GMA has curated events and activities that highlighted these crucial aspects.
The World Public Relations Day is a global celebration of PR practitioners every 16th July.
Insurance practitioners are urging small and medium-scaled enterprises to protect their goods and property by embracing insurance. Explain the need for SMEs to sign on to insurance policies. Chief Executive of Olea Insurance Brokers, Stephen Kwateng-Yeboah, said the only way to plan for uncertainties is by insuring goods and property to avoid unforeseen losses in the future. He spoke to Joy Business at a seminar to build capacity of some selected SMEs as part of the SME Month celebration.
What we identified is that the SMEs, they lack the support when it comes to insurance. Most of the time, insurance is very complex. There are contractual issues, documentations, and other things there. So their faith in insurance is really down. Because they don't really have faith in insurance because they don't get support when they buy the policy, what type of policy they have to buy, and when they have a claim, how do they resolve the claim? Because at the end of the day, if they don't insure, what will happen is that all the things that we are doing and everything there, you have one fire outbreak in the marketplace and they come to zero. So we don't want that to happen. And we've realized, even as an industry, that the reason why we are not growing is just because the people are in the SME sector. More than 70% of them are contributing to GDP. And we are contributing only 1.1 because we are targeting only the big corporates. But the things have changed now. So we want to come down to SMEs, we want to understand their problems and provide them tailor-made packages.
MTN Ghana is urging small and medium companies to adopt digital solutions in their day-to-day operations to enhance efficiency. Abubakar Siddiq Mohammed, head of SMEs at MTN, urged entrepreneurs to stay abreast by investing in education and adopting emerging technology to boost growth. He spoke to Joy Business at MTN's SME Training and Capacity Building Program, which forms part of the telecom company's SME Month.
Constituting over 90% of employment in the country, micro, small and medium companies contribute about 70% of the country's gross domestic product. However, the sector has failed to maximize its growth capacity, largely due to challenges such as access to funding and the adoption of digital solutions. In its bid to contribute to the growth of the sector, MTN Ghana has held a capacity building session for selected SMEs in the country. The move is part of activities to mark MTN's SME Month celebration. Speaking to the media, Abubakar Siddiq Mohammed, head of SME at MTN Ghana, encouraged entrepreneurs to keep up with current trends and adopt technological solutions in their operations.
SMEs must make it a point to make learning a continuous thing. They should be learning new skills. They should be learning about digitization. They should be learning about ways and means of how they'll be able to access funding. Now we have AI. These are all tools available within the digital arena or landscape that they'll be able to adopt to be able to develop their businesses, and then they will be able to grow. And then because we in the MTN, we are looking at how do we grow these SMEs and also how do they develop, because they need to grow before they can develop. So these are some of the things that we, MTN, is doing to ensure that we are able to support our SMEs.
Lead facilitator for the training session and the executive director for SME Grow Africa, Kwesi Ofori Jr., shared some practices that SMEs can engage to enhance productivity.
Succession planning, business growth, and these tools, proper bookkeeping records, and financial modeling are some of these things that we put in place for the businesses. Currently, they're doing a case study on how a business leave out some of the critical things that they need to focus on in growing their business when you want to attract investment. So you look at the financial bit, the record keeping, you look at the bit of insurance, you look at digital, you look at the entire structure of the business. So for every business to be able to grow, you need to consider the systems and structures.
One of the participants of the seminar, Bernard Aqua, called for more training to address the challenges of SMEs.
One of the few challenges I have experienced myself is funding, training, tax exemptions, and access to markets. These are the 4 areas that I think if SMEs have, they can actually grow their business. Tax exemption, we know that every country needs tax to grow. But there are some businesses and some enterprises that will need to be exempted to help them to grow their business well. Access to funding is also very key to push the business.
You're watching The Marketplace. Time to talk tech. All right, so a majority of banking customers prefer WhatsApp as a virtual medium to communicate with their banks. Now, this was one of the major findings of the 2024 PricewaterhouseCoopers banking survey. It also revealed that most customers want short time in banking halls when it comes to engaging their banks for various transactions. Let's bring in lead for Eyes of Africa, Henry Kobler, to discuss this. Good afternoon to you, Henry. I'm not too sure if I'm comfortable communicating with my bankers on WhatsApp, but it appears most bank customers prefer that medium.
Thank you very much, Daryl. So yes, per the survey, you'd come to that understanding that a lot of people are now choosing their easy mode of communication to be banking with their bankers, and that is also very important in terms of making it quite easy to reach out to the banks. I mean, if you've looked at what is already existing, most of the banks would definitely have a chatbot or their phone numbers on their mobile on their website for you to reach out to them. And that sometimes can be very frustrating because it takes a bit of time. And I think that looking at the current trend on WhatsApp basically is making it portable and easy to have connections to institutions which are verified. And so when I'm having a conversation with any banking institution, I can be sure that I'm using the correct WhatsApp medium or channel to have that. And that comes in strongly because when you're looking at within our region, WhatsApp has become the most used applications when it comes down to the messaging communication channels that are available. And so it would really make sense that a lot of people are now looking through that channel and would want to spend very minimal time in the banking halls. I mean, I've had a personal experience where sometimes I have to queue just to ask a simple question in the bank and make certain inquiries, which I think that would be easily done through WhatsApp. And again, WhatsApp introduces the functionality of chatbots within. And so you could relatively reach out to the most appropriate department to be able to answer your questions directly without having to move into the banking halls.
Yeah, I know it's convenient, but for me, I'm just concerned about security, and that's why I may hesitate. I mean, what are the assurances?
Yes, so if you're looking at what WhatsApp has already released onto the market, which is a WhatsApp business application, it already comes in with some level of features where you can see and be sure that the recipient of your conversation is verified, and so you can be sure that if I'm chatting with any of the banks, it's a verified account which is available again with the provisions of the end-to-end encryptions which is existing on WhatsApp. I think that makes sense enough. Generally, what you have to do in terms of security from your end is to make sure that the two-factor authentication on your WhatsApp and the PIN codes of your chats relatively are set and in place. And so you can be sure that you are in a safe zone when you're having these conversations. Again, I'm not sure that there are going to be some level of modus operandi when it comes down to being able to share details of card details and bank account values and all of that on WhatsApp. I think those ones can definitely be restricted, but in terms of general conversations, being able to reach out to the bank on certain issues, I think that should be enough to work on WhatsApp conversations. And the functionalities will keep building. Generally, I think that banking applications can also start putting in communication channels within. I've seen quite a number of them in the mobile applications for mobile apps for banks, but I don't think it's seamless and it's direct in terms to be having that functionality. But easy way to go, WhatsApp really works.
Yeah, well, it appears that the banks are upping their games when it comes to the use of these virtual mediums to enhance banking. Tell me how that is important to leverage, or how they can leverage that in boosting their operations in the wake of competition from fintechs.
Yes, so most of the mobile applications I've seen are now trying to do the basics for being able to check your bank account, being able to move money from one account into the other, and being able to do some level of transfers or moving money to mobile money accounts. I mean, those are basic ones which I have seen. But again, like I just mentioned, the ticketing aspect of being able to reach out and have customers reach out easily and have their issues solved within a matter of minutes is very potent, and that can actually be a game changer when it's being introduced into some of these mobile applications. Again, I'm looking at how innovative these mobile applications can be. I mean, I'm waiting for a time where my banking application is telling me that I'm spending so much on credit, or I'm spending so much on airtime, or cool. I'm spending too much in buying fuel. And so if there's a bit of introduction of AI tools and big data levels of analytics in these applications. I think this would be the game changer. I mean, which will come in strongly to oppose some of these fintech applications. Again, it doesn't have to always be about competition. It just has to be that most of these apps could just cohabit or coexist, really, to provide each other with the same functionalities, and you can have alternatives at any time to use.
Well, let's switch topics and talk about financial interoperability, because there was a major conference held a few days ago. What were the highlights?
So Africa Prosperity Network, I think the beginning of the year had organized a conference relatively where they had to bring in policymakers, they had to bring in business leaders, all together to have conversations on policies and guidelines to build the economy. And out of that conference, which was held in January, they had a symposium which now narrows to look at how actionable some of these conversations that were had in January were becoming effective. And definitely that comes in to see that this symposium relatively would speak about interoperability, which has become a major hurdle for us to cross. I mean, you're having mobile money companies really building up solutions, but how integrated are they? I mean, if somebody is in South Africa and I'm a fashion designer here and somebody likes my product, how is it easy for me to receive South African rand from him, where by the time I'm cashing out in my bank account, it's a Ghana Cedi? It always does not have to always go to the USD to hit up into our local currencies. And this is what the symposium relatively was seeking to do. I mean, quite a number of conversations coming in right from the governor's side, and then the policymakers. And then you have the telecoms also being on the table to see how easy and the point to be able to connect. I mean, the solution is right in front of us. It's not like it's far-fetched. It just has to be that we connect them, but there has to be some level of willingness coming from the policymakers, the governments within the African region to have this solution. I mean, it's easy to trade and send money in and out of Ghana to the US and to the UK. It should be easy to send money to Kenya without having to think of which platform is available. I mean, every platform is, I've seen perhaps do its bit, but I think that the general consensus has to be that it doesn't have to be a bigger institution being able to just handle this. I mean, as simple as a fintech should be able to move money from here, from my mobile money account into an M-Pesa account in Kenya. And these are the conversations that were started within the symposium. I'm looking forward to some level of actions coming in from the organizers and the players within the industry. I think that there was a white paper that was placed on this, and so I'll look forward to some level of implementations coming in from the stakeholders within this industry.
All right, Henry Kobler, lead Eyes of Africa. Always great to speak with you on the marketplace. Thank you so much. Well, we have one more story to share with you. The Bono Regional Minister, Justina Usubanahene, has said the active private sector investment in women's agribusiness initiatives will create inclusive value chains and ensure fair opportunities for farmers. Speaking at the Agri-House Foundation Forum for Women in Agriculture in Sunyane, the minister says such strategic investments will complement the government's effort to address the challenges faced by women in agribusiness. Pesho Semevo has more.
Agri-House Foundation's 6th Women in Food and Agricultural Leadership Forum in Sunyane brought together about 600 women farmers in the Bono region, trained in general agronomic practices, farm management, and the exhibition of produce, among others. The forum, supported by Yara Ghana and Global Affairs Canada, was themed Overcoming the Barriers to Women Agribusiness Development, the Role of Stakeholders. The executive director of the foundation, Alberta Nanecha Akosa, noted the growing involvement of young women in agriculture.
This is the first time that we've been able to have women participation, especially within the Gold in the Soil Awards, that we have the age bracket from 28 years. It's the lowest we've ever had. But it's a strong indication that young women are beginning to appreciate going into farming and, most importantly, playing key roles within the value chain. But I think that advocacy plays a key role in advancing or bringing women, young women, into the agricultural space, and this is a major platform for advocacy.
The farmers, including the physically challenged, stressed the need to clear the bottlenecks impeding their activities a situation the Bono Regional Director of Agriculture, Dennis Abugri Amenga, said requires stakeholders' support to address the gender-related challenges.
Women could increase production by 20 to 30% if they had the same access to productive resources that their male counterparts do get. It is therefore incumbent on extension service providers, development partners, and non-governmental organizations to map up strategies that will address the gender-related challenges in farming, so as to attend to both practical and strategic needs of women farmers and promote women access to communal land, essential services, and resources that will make them productive.
Despite the government's efforts, Bono Regional Minister Justina Osubanahene said the active private sector investment in women's agribusiness initiatives will address the challenges faced by women.
Our goal is to remove structural barriers and ensure that women have the same opportunities as their counterparts to excel in their endeavor in the field of agriculture. However, the government's efforts and actions alone are not enough to effect holistic solutions to the challenges faced by the women in agribusiness. In this regard, we need the active involvement of the private sector to invest in women's agribusiness initiatives and to create inclusive value chains that offer fair opportunities for all.
Some deserving farmers were recognized, with Nanaya Esuama Yeboah the first, Jasihima of Atuna in the German South, adjudged the winner of the Gold in the Soil Awards to encourage others. Precious Semevo Joy Business, Sunyai.
And that's the marketplace. Always keep up to date on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. IMF maintains global forecast at 3.2% for 2024. Also, recent data shows the economy is recovering according to the Bank of Ghana. myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for watching.